Sorry, guys, we just had the camera drop out, but we've thrown another battery back in, so all good. But yeah, like I was just getting at the mass contradictions and why were the police out at these protests trying to, enforce this crap to stop the spread of a virus, but yet they just add add to it by having 500 of them there and jumping on people and when they're arresting them and just piling like you seen the footage. It was about 4 or 5
Yeah,
coppers
it's
pinning one bloke
disgusting.
down,
Yeah,
so they're lying over each other. So if there is anything to spread, well then he's obviously just spread it everywhere. Like,
yeah,
yeah, when are these coppers going to wake up and realize, oh, hang on, what's going on here? Like,
yeah.
we have seen some,
A few,
them
yeah,
the ones out of Grafton, I think it was, up in the Central Coast,
yeah,
in New South Wales. They came out with the Cops for COVID Truth, and one of the highway patrol officers or something had a big 3 or 4 page document calling out the entire fraud and saying that they've never isolated the virus, so there's never been no coach postulates done on it to prove that the virus actually exists. Or but you put something like that up on Instagram or something, they try to say, oh yeah, it has, this has been fact checked and it has been isolated. It hasn't. Trust me. Do your research.
yeah.
Um, and the PCR test. This copper called out the PCR test and wrote a lot of good things, in this document. Like we've gone on about before with the death figures, how they haven't gone up from previous years. So we're in a so-called deadly pandemic. Don't you think the numbers would have gone up higher from the previous years?
Exactly.
Right. And then all, and you're seeing all these COVID deaths in there, but then, like you said, heart attacks have dropped off, the flu's disappeared completely, cancer deaths have dropped off. But yet, all these COVID cases, but the death figures haven't changed, the overall death figures. It's just crazy. But anyway, this copper has figured all that out and has put in a 3 or 4 page document. I don't know if anything's really come of that, but it's just good to see that there are, because this was a few months ago that he'd done it. But yeah, it is just good to see there are some police out there starting to wake up and do things about it.
Exactly, because they have to, and as well as we all have to. But I was just trying to find it in the magazine, that actual article from the police, but I couldn't find it. Might be able to find it later. But these New Dawn magazines or Uncensored that you find in newsagents, that they have some useful information in them. If you want to just get some information to have hard copies of, and instead of just having all on the internet, where it all could go down at any time, and you got nothing anymore, and it could be just a slate clean of reset of the internet, like they want to do the Great Reset with everything else. And
there's no doubt this is coming. I think what Mitch is saying is great. Like, get yourself some of these magazines, start downloading things off Bitchute, probably, because nearly everything good is gone off YouTube now.
Exactly.
But yeah, put them onto a hard drive and save all this, because there's no doubt there's a purge coming. There's this blackout. They've even got this cyber polygon, that the simulation that's coming up, where they're doing a simulation of a global blackout, where the whole financial system will go down and the internet will go down, and then once it comes back on, it'll be like Mitch said, it'll be the slate will be wiped clean, and
but the world will be in disarray for a few months when you got no electricity, no internet, nothing. If that all gets shut down, you think everyone runs off it, everyone runs everything off it, and we don't realize how useless we are without these things, even just GPS.
can't even read a map.
Can't even read a map, most kids. It's like, wow, you don't even, you think that's even winding down a window, they think is crazy. But, that's the world that they've been brought up in, and they don't know, they've been brought into this technology. So, all their lives, and you know, it's been a little bit different for us, but we've seen it all come along so quickly with smartphones, how much they've changed the world and changed everyone, and yeah.
You can see that's where it's all heading. Like they probably want to cull most of the people off that know this old history and the ways of life, like the proper way, you know, like you're saying, like kids don't even know that windows used to be manually wound up.
Yeah.
So like if they knock off all of our generation and above, and maybe even a little bit below us, what are these kids going to know? You know, like they're not going to bat an eyelid at a technocracy because they've been groomed for it. So
yeah,
it's scary thought, isn't it?
yeah.
It's you know, so when you think of what could happen if they get their way, it's beyond your worst nightmares. It's the only way to describe it.
Like I was saying, people say it's like it's out of a movie, but yeah, I've got to be prepared. But like, because these things can happen.
And wouldn't you rather be, if you are someone sitting on the fence, wouldn't you rather be prepared in case it does happen? You know, if we're speaking we're speaking smack. Sorry. Like I've said before, I'd love to be wrong. Seriously, I would love to be wrong. I don't want any of this to be true, but hey,
we're looking at the facts.
It is true, yeah.
We're looking at the information, yeah. And if you're not, and you're not making your own decision with this information that's in front of you, and how obvious it is, you're not using your mind, and you're letting someone else use your own mind and your own thoughts, and
that's right.
That's a slave to me.
100%.
You're letting your mind go to them, but that's what a lot of people want. They don't want to do anything. They want to just sit on the couch and be lazy and watch their shows and bicker and judge and whatever, man. Like, and it's like, that's just so petty. It's like, it's selfish too. It is. It really is, because all the people that have died for our freedoms in the past, you got to stand up, because they died for our freedoms. Like, and people tend to forget that and think that that'll never happen these days. That'll never happen. World War III won't happen. This and that.
No, here it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming, guys, and it's already started. And if you don't think that, you got to just look at the world right now. It's in shambles. It's not good. No. It really isn't. And yeah, every system is getting taken down on, and a lot of people are, you know, countries fighting against each other like for decades upon decades. There's always been wars. Like, if you think there hasn't been, and like, you're sadly wrong, because the bloodshed has always been around, and a lot of people have given their lives up for this stuff, and if they could come into the future and see that a lot of people are just carrying away, not standing up, and it's disgraceful. It really is. Even not, for instance, at the last Anzac Day, we know this, Josh, and you know, they let thousands of people in stadiums for these football games and sporting games, but they won't let people, you know, have these marches and stuff for the troops that laid down their lives for us. And
they put a restriction at the shrine in Melbourne. I think they only allowed 1,400 people there. And then, we've seen close to 80,000 at the MCG for the AFL game.
It's all about money, and you know, they let people move around, all these celebrities move around the world, even though there's travel bans and this and that. But people see the contradictions. And why is that? Like, because it's about profit, you know, a lot of the time. And
But even like a lot of people that believe in all this, they know that. They're like, oh, yeah, but they got the money, you know, it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but why aren't you fucking angry about that?
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They don't,
They forget our country's massively in debt, you know, as well as a lot of other countries, to a fake monopoly system. And it's, it's a joke. Really,
it is. Yeah, the more, you know, you look into it too, you just realise that everything, like I was saying before, from every angle is just lies. And the whole, you know, the way they pull us into these acts and directives to make us think that it's the law and stuff, and it's not. Like, you know, they've really you know, pulled the wool over our eyes in this whole you know, like everyone just needs to get back to the common law and really start to learn their rights and things like this, and realize that we've been just completely duped. You know, like the birth certificate, for instance, you know, that is the contract that keeps, you know, like that contracts you to the system, like, you know, like it's all done in bullshit contracts and just fake laws. Like, none of it is legit. It's only works if you consent to it, if you give your power to it, and that's how they do it because no one knows about, or like, you know, majority of the people don't know about this, and so they can just pull the wool. But even the coppers actually don't even know about it. They don't know the law. They're taught a fake version of the law, majority of them, and they, you know, it's just it's a whole nother scam, isn't it? And people, you know, you see people bash other people down for trying to stand up for their rights, and you know, they think, oh, you're selfish and you should just do what's right, just do what's told. And where's that got us? Where's that got us? You know, from day dot, mate, you've done what your parents say, you've done what your teacher says, you've done what your boss says, you've done what your government says, and they all fucking shit on you in the end. Well, your parents, sorry, mum and dad. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're always got that higher presence telling you what to do, and you can't do this, you can't do that. They don't want free thinkers, you know. They don't want anyone thinking for themselves. They want the higher person telling that bottom person what to do.
Exactly.
And I mean, I shared
a hierarchy.
That's it. I shared something on Instagram today, and this is exactly, you know, what they want from this. It says they keep saying that they want herd immunity, but what they actually want is herd mentality, you know? And that's exactly what they want. They don't want anyone thinking any differently from, you know, their status quo or their narrative or whatever you want to call it. But and that's what we're seeing right now. Anyone that thinks out of line, anyone that thinks different to this COVID narrative is completely bashed down, is called this and that. They're blatantly bullying people. And like, where do these people, they're just fucking news presenters, these people, and they fucking speak like they know so much shit, and they're so intelligent in this. Like, they had that Craig Kelly on, you know, when he was calling out that, or not calling out, he was saying about hydroxychloroquine and other ways to cure COVID, and not that it exists or anything, but anyway, they were just calling him, you know, a nut job and all this shit, and like, this just news presenter is saying is saying this, like, I forget what term she used, but, you know, she called him a nut job or something. Like, it's like, this guy's a politician, and
This was another politician calling him a nut job.
No, a media presenter.
Oh, right, yeah. And there was a politician as well that went at him as well.
Yeah. I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, and so many people have bashed him, you know, for saying these things and standing up. But they always put the narrative of, you know, people dying and all that. And it's just like people have forgotten. People die all the time, guys, from diseases, cancer, this and that all the time. And it's like, why haven't you been saying this for years and been pushing cures more? And you think these, charities that Bill Gates owns and stuff, he owns these charities and he puts a lot, like, he gets grants from WHO or whatever. And he put in, I seen an article, he put it all into charity. He's a good man and all that. But you don't realize he owns the charity. It's all gets funneled around and he does nothing with that money. But how does, if he was giving away a lot of his wealth in the last few years, but yet he's doubled his wealth in the last year, how is that possible, guys? Like, he's scamming everyone. He's scamming everyone with these charities and this and that and making you think he's a good person, but he's not. He's a criminal.
No, absolutely. Like we could literally have a whole podcast dedicated to Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And, and just point out all the things like Mitch was just saying and, all the hypocrisy behind him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, if you're a truther, you obviously know about the Rockefellers. Well, yeah, Bill Gates is related to the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Like, he's the WHO was set up by the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Like, can't people see the connection? I know the truthers obviously do, but can't the rest of them see the connection? So fucking obvious. Like.
Yeah, and didn't Fauci even go to share the same dorm room with Bill Gates? And there's so many connections, guys. They've been planning this stuff for a long time. And you think, that's just a coincidence, but
you just have to say that for everything. Like, what they came up with that term, the coincidence theorist or something. Where the conspiracy theorists and yeah. But one thing I did want to just touch on before we start to wrap it up was, when we brought up the Satanism before, and like when we first delved in, went down the rabbit hole of the New World Order, 6 or so years ago, and we started looking at, the whole New World Order and what they wanted to implement. And, we seen the one world religion, and I'd always sort of thought, the first few years after hearing that, I thought, well, what's the religion going to be?
Yeah.
It's obvious, isn't it? Satanism.
Yeah, and you might think that's crazy and far out there, but they're pushing it in schools, like I said before, and in Australia, guys, like, come on. It's bad, It's, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a chat the other day on, I think it was Instagram Live I did. And I brought up the fact about the little Nas and how he came out with that song where, in the film clip, he's getting a lap dance from Satan. He slides down on the stripper pole down to hell and gets a lap dance from Satan.
He's been out there.
Benny, with Nike, and that they brought out the shoe that had the soul.
Putting it right in your face,
blood in the soul, which is symbolic of Satan wants to take your soul.
Oh.
It had the pentagram on there, and there was only 666 copies of the shoe. And like, you speak to some people who aren't aware of any of the agenda and that, and they just think, oh, come on, you're looking a bit too deep into it. He's just having a bit of a laugh. Bit of a laugh? What the fuck, eh? Like,
that's sickening.
Yeah.
Having a laugh about that, like, it's, yeah.
Yeah, and it's everywhere you look, like Satanism. Like, and Satanism is no doubt connected to pedophilia. And that's another thing that they've been trying to push extremely hard for the last few years is normalizing pedophilia. Like I've said this a few times, that they've done a whole TED talk about normalizing pedophilia and trying to get people into accepting it as a sexual preference. And, a sexual preference to fuck kids. and the kids don't have any consent, and that's okay. People need to be screaming from the rooftops, bro. Like, what are they? If you're not aware of it, you need to get aware. You know,
you got to drop that ego, guys.
Yeah,
you have to drop the ego.
The people out there that are aware of it, you've got to be speaking up about this shit and make everyone around you aware of it, because that's sickening.
Yeah.
Normalizing pedophilia as a sexual preference. I don't know. You know, what else do you say to that?
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend for a lot of people, because it's crazy, but we have to realize that this world is crazy, and a lot of the people are psychotic and evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we have to stand up, guys. We have to.
So how do you see the rest of this year playing out, though? Like, with the vaccine rollout at the moment, a lot of the frontline workers are getting it. I think, you know, they're just about, or they may be already opening it up to the public. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it is. The public are getting it. They are. Well, in other countries, they've probably gone through half the country. You know.
Yeah, well, in the US, UK, and
yeah, exactly. We're a little bit behind, but yeah, you have to get this news out to your friends and family and whoever, because, like I said before, you don't want to have regrets that you could have done something. You could have saved them. You could have stopped them getting anything bad from these vaccines that's going to happen. And you know, just letting these people be guinea pigs is sickening. Like it really is. It's sad, and you know, these dictators in the past, we've already seen this happen. They've controlled their people through Hitler, to see, you know, and control these people with many things. And we have to stand up, because if we don't, we'll get taken over, like Germany did, and they obviously took over many countries, and like, it was sickening back then. And all the wars have been sickening, and we've got to get prepared, because there's a massive spiritual war that's about to happen for our minds, our freedoms, everything. The information is getting censored every day, and still no one's standing up for, like, a lot of people aren't even standing up for that. And that's freedom of speech. That's crucial for a society to operate. And you know, Hitler silenced people, threw them in death camps and this and that, you know, separated people for their eye color and hair color, whatever, you know.
We're seeing the same thing, aren't we, right now?
Exactly, guys.
Separate,
and that's,
you know, we're the new Jews, the like, you know, they label us anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers and anti-lockdowners or whatever.
Even the racism cards, that's why they're getting pulled at the moment in the past year, because they want to divide us more. Everything is there to divide us. Divide and conquer. It's their main goal, and they're doing it. They've been doing it for a long, long time. This hasn't been going on for a few years.
No.
It's been going on for ages, centuries, guys. Wars, and divide and conquer.
So, do you think you will get to a point at the end of the year, though, where there will be a great divide within society, and you'll see, you know, that people like us go one way and the rest of them go the other way?
Yeah, 2022 will be a very interesting year, I reckon, because I've heard a few things about, you know, at the end of this year, it's going to get really hairy and then leading into 2022. And then I've heard many things about a massive breakout of a lot of darkness in 2023. But these are all just, you know, who knows if they're going to play out. But like we said before, we've got to be prepared, because it's at a crossroads right now, and we've got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now is the window of opportunity.
Yeah, we might not have a voice in a year's time. We might not even be able to even upload anything, guys. Like,
and you know, we're going to be dealing with these people that have already got the vaccine, and
yeah,
you know, we've already, like I said, heard signs of people really starting to change after getting it.
Yeah.
That's if it doesn't kill you, or you know. But so dealing with these people who are now non-human, who have got a bioweapon literally inside of them.
Yeah.
It's going to make it even more extreme, more difficult for us to fight back when, you know, we're going to have these imbeciles to deal with now as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, we've already had to deal with the Karens and the Aarons and all these people who police you from their front yard.
Yeah.
What are they going to be like now that they've taken this poison and it's turned them non-human? Right? It's going to be next level dealing with these idiots.
And that's why I feel once at the end of the year, when a lot of these people that want to get vaccinated are vaccinated, and it's the divide is going to be massive. And you got to choose a side, guys, because if you just cower in and get these vaccines and then think later, oh, you know, I should have been on the other side, it's too late. It's too late. You've poisoned yourselves with these ingredients in these vaccines. You know, diabolical. It's unfathomable what they actually, you know, these vaccines are so much different to other vaccines with the, like we said before, you know, nano technology in it. It's next level. And he got a Bill Gates. He worked on computer viruses 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. And now he's working to put a virus in your body. I'm telling you guys, like, you don't want it. You don't want it. And if you already have got it, you can't be getting any more doses. Like, you have to say no at some point. And if it's going to cost your career, I know that's hard, but it could cost your soul. And that's a bigger price to pay. Massive price. I mean, you just don't understand that what the repercussions could be from this. And you have to be prepared. And
no, that's well said. I don't know what to add to that, to be honest. That's you know, you couldn't have said it better. But for the people that are awake, as I've said so many times, just keep driving the message home.
Yeah.
It's the number one thing. Other than yourself, you know, really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Keep, you know, doing whatever you got to do to better yourself.
Don't let their energy affect you, guys.
No.
Don't let
that's it. Like, you've got to protect ourselves through prayer, through crystals.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different ways, but
we
just got to keep the fight up. Don't take the foot off the accelerator.
Yeah.
Stay focused. Stay vigilant. Because the rest of this year and beyond is going to get really fucking weird. It is. Like, so I'd be preparing for literally anything that your mind can think of to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and if it doesn't, if we you know, we start to get on top and start to win it, that's great.
Yeah.
But like, at the end of the day, I genuinely do believe that we are going to win this. I feel it within inside of myself. I know. I just think I wouldn't be doing this work if I didn't know the outcome. And I do know the outcome, and that's love wins. Love always wins.
Love is always more powerful.
They even tell you in the movies, you know, the goodies always win. It's just, it's a shit fight getting there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a slog, but, you know, you just got to endure it, stay focused, and try and enjoy it too. You know, like
Mm.
you've got such an amazing opportunity to be on Earth, to be
Yeah.
incarnated right now, while this, you know, unbelievable change happens. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you are so lucky to be living in
Yeah.
this time.
And just be thankful to be alive, guys. Don't go through your working week being in that weekdays and then be weakened
For the
on the
weekend.
weekend. Like, it's there. Spells are there. They're tricking your mind, like with words, and just making you be a zombie all week. And the real zombies are already out there, guys. Like, they're the ones that are just complying and complying, and they don't even use this. They don't. And we have to.
Well, I think we might wrap it up there, mate.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have him come on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's been good. I think, you know, we will make this more of a regular thing now that Mitch is keen to come on and have
definitely.
a chat. You probably might even join me on a few interviews we do with different people. So, but yeah, it's like I said, mate. Good to have you on board. I know you've always been on board. It's good to, you know, that you've got the courage now to go to that next level.
Exactly. We all have to.
And yeah, man, be inspired by that. Be inspired that he's, you know, and I was in the same boots, you know, a year ago when I first started. Well, not quite a year ago, last July, when I started doing it. I was shitting myself, but I knew, I just had this voice in the back of my head saying, "You have to do this.
Yeah.
You don't have an option. All right, you just got to do it. Have faith.
Yeah.
Everything will be all right. But just do it, you know." And it was so far out of my comfort zone, but
listen to your heart, guys. Listen to your listen to your inner intuition, because it's so important. You know, you got to feel what's right, and you know what's right. You know these things are corrupt and these things are bad, and we have to push the positivity, and awaken people right now, because this is the time.
100%. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, see you soon, guys.
Take care.